thank you guys so much for having me here today. I am going to be using my phone. I was inspired by Gary yesterday. No, actually, the truth is I didn't give myself enough time to print out my speech, so please bear with me if I have to look down at it. But I want to say thank you to the Asian Racing Federation for having me here today. I'm so excited to be part of this panel, to be participating in this conference. It's been truly amazing, a few days here, and to hear from some of the leading minds in our industry. But most of all, I am excited to share with you all what we're doing at Horse Country and the horse capital of the world in Lexington, Kentucky. I'd like to start, though, as we heard introducing this panel, on what's really brought us all here today. So I'd like all of you all to reflect quite sincerely on what has brought you here. And I don't just mean, my boss signed me up and made me come. No, I'm just kidding. This has been an incredible conference. What has really brought you to a career in this industry? I would imagine, hazard a guess, that many of us are here because of the horse. An interaction that we had at an early stage in our lives, maybe a later stage in our life, but one that was incredibly impactful on us, whether you were lucky to grow up around horses or riding horses, or had a successful bet at the races at some point in your life. It is the horse that really, really brought us here all together. And Horse Country in particular is focused in a sense on scaling those anecdotal moments that we've all experienced. And more importantly, as those opportunities to be near a horse, again, like many of the ones that we experienced, become fewer and far between, Horse Country is proactively filling the gap between the general public and the horse. As we grow further away from an agrarian society, those moments are few and far between. And it's important for us to be proactive in connecting people to the horse. The late Alice Chandler of Mill Ridge Farm, who some of you may know, and whose son, Headley Bell, and grandson, Price Bell, really were the original founders in getting Horse Country off the ground. It was Alice who said, you need to let a horse breathe on them. That will get them hooked on horse racing. I think that's a concept that applies to many of us here today. I know it applies to me personally, and is part of what's brought me here today. But hand in hand with that concept falls the importance of equine welfare. It's hard to care for or support an industry or a sport like ours if the key players are abused or mistreated. And that was made abundantly clear by the McKinsey & Company's 2011 report issued to the American Jockey Club at their annual roundtable. An important aspect of racing's brand perception is animal welfare. And while it hasn't always been that way for our sport, I think we can all agree it should be a vital pillar of success for us as we move forward. So I think these are probably some stats you all have seen, and they were absolutely staggering to our industry at the time. And only 22% of the general public had a positive perception of thoroughbred racing, and a staggering number felt disconnected from the sport, even including our own existing fan base. And animal welfare, again, was one of those main concerns in growing across the U.S. public. And that welfare concern proved to continue to be a consistent theme of concern from the general public. So anyway, it is safe to assume that this altogether aroused a lot of concern across our industry. I'm sure there's several people in this room who remember that report and the actions taken by our jockey club and by other initiatives in the U.S. And one of them, a group of people who were aroused to action coming out of this report, were a group of leaders within the thoroughbred breeding and racing industry in central Kentucky. And what came about is what we know now as Horse Country. Really, many of them came together and knew that they had this concept of welcoming people through their gates, behind the scenes, and could directly impact that public perception by welcoming people onto their farms. And so Horse Country came about really as a collaborative initiative to grow our sport. We were established formally in 2016 as a not-for-profit member organization with contributions from over 30 industry organizations, including 25 members who would go on to host experiences and directly welcome guests onto their farm or within their facilities. Just an overall listing of some of our current members who are either supporting or who are hosting tours. Our mission statement is to connect guests to the horse, land, and people of Kentucky's equine industry through immersive experiences at our unique member locations, with a vision to inspire lifelong love of the horse, passion for equestrian sport, and a desire to visit Kentucky to experience the best of both. You'll see there, first and foremost, is the horse. And this session is specifically focused on safeguarding the welfare of our equine athletes. And in particular, I'm here to speak to how horse country is connecting retired racehorses with the public through immersive tourism experiences. But I want to dive into that a little bit further. As often when we discuss retired racehorses, we tend to focus on those who are going to go on into a second career, go on to be athletes in a different discipline. But I think it's really important to not overlook those who are retiring into breeding careers as well. At Horse Country, we are showing in real life the care and welfare of thoroughbreds throughout every stage of their life, from foaling through their early years to the racetrack and beyond, which includes, again, both horses who are going on into a breeding career and those who will go on to be athletes in different disciplines, or maybe just a pet as well. Not all of them necessarily have the athletic ability to go on and compete at high levels. So through Horse Country, our members are providing guests the opportunity to see firsthand the care given to these horses, and again, at every stage of their life. This includes experiences offered at 2 world-renowned vet clinics in Haggard Equine Medical Institute and Root and Riddle Equine Hospital. We also currently have 4, about to be 5. We're excited to add another Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance accredited, not-for-profit aftercare facilities. So that includes the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation, which houses retired thoroughbreds through the rest of their lives, New Vocations and the Secretariat Center, which do retrain thoroughbreds into second careers, and the Kentucky Equine Adoption Center, which doesn't just focus on thoroughbreds, but as you can imagine in Kentucky, they have a large thoroughbred population, and they look to adopt those horses out. Horse Country's responsibilities to our membership focus primarily on marketing and customer service. Fundamentally, we really are a fan development initiative, but we'll come back to that in just a minute. We host the centralized booking platform on our website through which all tickets to any experience are booked or are sold. And it is our members who then welcome those guests onto their farms or into their facilities and provide that direct experience. So also as part of our mission to our members, but also to the sport, we collect a lot of data off those guests who come through, try to gauge their perception of racing, the experience that they've had, and are looking to then further cultivate them into our sport. So since officially opening our gates to regular tours in 2016, we've welcomed over 200,000 visitors. As you guys can imagine, COVID-19 did quite a number on our organization. I actually give mad props to my predecessor for getting us through COVID-19 and to our members also for helping to see us through. But what was phenomenal, based on our central location in the US, based in Lexington, Kentucky, and the fact that our tours mostly occur outdoors, we were able to bounce back very quickly in 2021 and recognized similar numbers just slightly under what we had recognized in 2019, which was a banner year of growth for our organization. And happily for me, I just had my 1-year anniversary, if you will, on February 14th. So proud to say from 2021 to 2022, we saw a 28% growth in guest numbers. And we currently have 23 members throughout the calendar year who are offering tours, including those veterinary clinics and our aftercare facilities welcoming guests. Now, I'm going to jump through quickly some of these other data points. I'm happy to stick around and to answer some questions, but I see my timer down here is going very quickly. So I'm going to click through some of this. Essentially, the point is the data points we collect, we are seeing an improvement of the perception pre-visit and post-visit from our guests that are coming through. And really, our main point here, though, is while the data is wonderful, I love data, the main point is the direct feedback we get from our guests. So you'll give me just a second to catch up. Really, like as I said, our biggest success happens every day when our members welcome individual guests onto their farms and into their facilities to meet horses. And again, this feedback is incredible. So bringing that all the way back around to the topic that we have today, safeguarding the welfare of our equine athletes is the most important thing. And Horse Country is a piece of that puzzle, that equine welfare puzzle, where fans, skeptics, neophytes, and everyone in between can experience firsthand the care that is provided to our equine athletes through every stage of life. I think just as importantly, They hear directly from those people who care deeply for these horses, many of whom have dedicated their lives to the care and well-being of the horses that are in their care. I think horse country is an incredibly important piece that helps provide transparency, not only on paper or on social media or in video content, but live in the flesh transparency where guests can experience it up close and personally. Horse country is here to help support what we've referenced a lot through these few days, our social license to operate. While we're by no means solving this problem on our own, it takes a village, and it really comes down to our visitors actually welcoming these people on the farm and taking them through their experiences of caring for these horses directly. I think it is safe to say that it's an incredibly important piece to market what our industry is doing. To me, equine welfare and fan development go hand in hand. You cannot separate them, and horse country is here to bridge that gap, dare I say gulf, that currently exists between the general public and the horses in our care. And we're working to sustainably scale that access. I came across a quick quote in some of this preparation for today, saying that welfare is multidimensional. It cannot be measured directly, but only inferred from external parameters. And I think that's something that we can all in this room understand, that there's not this perfect metric, there's not this perfect way to solve the welfare issue. It takes all of us collectively doing our part to continue to change that narrative. Our moniker often, advocacy through transparency, engagement through experience. Again, kind of brought back, the McKinsey & Company came back in 2018, and we continue to see some slight improvement, which is obviously better than none. This job is never finished, though. And again, the top concern is treatment of horses after retirement, so we still have quite a lot to do. And what we're really doing at Horse Country, we're changing those perceptions one person at a time at our member locations. So thank you guys very much. I know I'm sorry I went over a little bit. Sorry to keep you guys going. Shameless plug, if you're coming to Kentucky, come see us. You can book tickets online directly at visithorsecountry.com. We hope to see you guys there. Thank you very much for your time.